GRTS Radio, formerly Radio Gambia, is the national radio station of the Republic of the Gambia. This iconic national treasure has since pre-independence remained the undisputed voice of the Gambia, providing unique news and program content and helping cement the Gambia's social and cultural cohesion.
When we thought about marking 60 years, we thought how many people actually know how old Radio Gambia is. For many of us, for many of our audience, they were born and found radio around. But yeah, it didn't just spring up. It took a lot of effort, and that was actually during the colonial administration.
The radio began broadcasting in May 1962 under P.S. Njai as chief minister. Since then, Radio Gambia's unique broadcasting journey took it through independence, a momentous historical event, and the radio has maintained its admirable appeal among Gambians. The radio was initiated by Britain at a time when most other West African British colonies, including Ghana and Nigeria, had already have their own stations. Gambian historian Hasum Sise argues that the establishment of the station was informed by the need for British propaganda against the negative influence of the Nazi information warfare.
1942, that was the first attempt by the British colonialists to install a broadcasting service for the Gambia. And a broadcasting system was established at Lamin in Kombo, Kombo North. It was informed by the need for propaganda, because by 1962, Dakar was under the control of the Vichy. These were, the bootlickers of Adolf Hitler. After Adolf Hitler had conquered France in 1940, a large part of the former French colonies, also French, fell into the hands of collaborators of Adolf Hitler, in the name of Marshal Pétain. So Dakar was really Hitler territory. Dakar, just 300 kilometers from Patros, was Hitler territory. So the British were eager to do propaganda against the possible negative influence of the Nazi on the minds of Gambians.
The budget to build Radio Gambia was £60,000. P.S. Njai and Minister Omar Mbake were critical to the establishment of Radio Gambia. The first statements broadcast on Radio Gambia were political, as the opening of the station coincided with the 1962 general elections. Politicians were allocated time to make political broadcasts over Radio Gambia. That sets the trend, which continues to this day, as Radio Gambia prides itself with fairness and impartiality as the voice of every Gambian.
The opening of Radio Gambia coincided with the start of the election campaign for the 1962 general elections. So there was this, baptism of fire, if you like, for the new broadcasting outfit. And all the political parties, the UP in power at the time, the PPP in opposition, and the Gambia Democratic Alliance, all of them were given 5 minutes broadcast time to send their message to the Gambian public through Radio Gambia. So the day it was born, the first statements were political statements.
Radio Gambia was housed on Telegraph Road in Banjul before the building of the present-day studios by the Nigerian government in Mile 7 Bakau.
Radio Gambia was housed at Telegraph Road, almost opposite the Death House now. The building is still there, and you have the Gamtel kiosk, and just behind the Gamtel office. The building is still there, and that was a facility for cable and wireless. Cable and wireless predated Gamtel. It was a British company which was given the monopoly for telecommunications in the Gambia. So they had an unused office, and that was the office that was used to install the stereo equipment, and the building is still there.
Radio Gambia was the first station to broadcast in local languages, which made it popular across the Senegambia region and beyond.
Radio Gambia was the first station to broadcast in languages like Fula and Mandinka. Because before Radio Gambia, you had Radio Senegal, and then called Radio Dakar, which mainly broadcast in French and Wolof. So Radio Gambia broadcast programs in other languages. That is why from the very beginning it had a faithful listenership. Audience across the entire Senegambia region, from Guinea-Conakry to Guinea-Bissau to Eastern Senegal to Southern Senegal, and of course the Gambia.
The radio also had a strong cultural programming, giving airtime to popular griots, thus bringing them closer to the doorsteps of every Gambian.
It had a very, very strong cultural programming. Lola Keba Drame, Amadou Bansan Jobate, the Halampe Abdoulaye Samba, the Balafong player, Ifabala Kanute, Jalinyama Suso in Bakau. Each of these great griots started immediately to be given airtime on Radio Gambia, and that was also another bomb, because you only could hear them when you went to a naming ceremony, for example, Lalo Keba, or when there's a live performance. But what Radio Gambia did was really bring these great Gambian griots to the sitting rooms of Gambians.
The first staff of Radio Gambia were Badulo and Mariam Foon, who read the news in English and Wolof respectively.
Badulo was the pioneer broadcaster in this country. He was employed at the information office by Captain Peters, because at the time all the communication in this country was in the hands of a soldier called Captain Peters. He edited the news bulletin, and when Radio Gambia was established, he was the first director of programs. But Badulo was employed as far back as the 1940s. He had a very good voice. Maybe you broadcasters will call it a baritone. He was like a baritone, deep guttural voice, highly loved. He spoke very good Wolof. In fact, Demotic Wolof. He had stature. He was quite a tall guy, hefty,
So how influential was his voice?
Very influential. If you didn't hear it from Badulo, for the average Gambian, it was not true.
From the start, Radio Gambia mirrored Gambia's unity in diversity. Its programming gave visibility to all the cultures and tribes in the Gambia. Radio Gambia was also a tool for nation building and national reconciliation following the 1981 coup.
After the 1981 attempted coup d'etat, national reconciliation was brought about thanks to Radio Gambia. The coup brought a lot of suffering in this country. Up to 1,000 Gambians died. Rape, looting. There was even an attempt to, stereotype or to stigmatize one part of the country for the coup. But thanks to Radio Gambia, you had this program called One Gambia, One Nation. People like Halifa Sallah, they did very well through Radio Gambia to bring the people back together. That the coup was just an aberration. It is gone, it is gone. Gambians should look forward. And that was a very, very, powerful way of bringing peace and unity and reconciliation.
Its diverse audience also included the PAIGC freedom fighters in Guinea-Bissau, who were big fans of the radio due to its programming in local languages. Radio Gambia also contributed to the development of agriculture, health and education. The station broadcast agricultural, health and education messages regularly.
It was a pioneer in educational broadcasting, because in the late 70s, when the government realized that there were shortage of teachers, Radio Gambia was asked to be like the classroom for the entire country. So radio sets were purchased for all the schools in the country, and every morning from 8:30 to midday, Radio Gambia will be broadcasting the lessons. And throughout the Gambia, in every classroom, the teacher, will be tuned. And also FAO also, the Gambia won prizes, from the FAO, for its contribution to agricultural development, promotion of seed technology, good seeds, fertilizer application and all. So really, the radio was really a very, very powerful tool in national development.
The National Radio also created a unique platform for a generation of homegrown broadcasters who went on to hone their skills and become doyens in the business of broadcasting.
I have very good memories when people line up at their radio sets up country to listen to Radio Gambia news and even programs. And when I finally joined Radio Gambia almost 35 years ago, I found those very good memories there. At the time, there was discipline, hard work, and everybody you see works to the dot. And the people at the helm of affairs at the time were very conscious of the fact that it is only through hard work and discipline that we can reach where we reached. And that was the trend. And even if you go to the library will tell you everything about what Radio Gambia stands for, from news to entertainment side, music, culture, name it, and even religion for that matter.
For many of these veterans, the decades of dedicated service brought with it many cherished memories.
I thank God, Esa, for being a living witness to it. Radio Gambia has been in existence 60 years. This year, 1st of May 1962, it was established during the colonial era, moving forward up to this year, 2022. Well, I joined the broadcasting services on the 1st of July 1981. And when the infamous rebellion happened led by Kukoy Samba Sanyang, we were among the young boys who were on that unfaithful Thursday morning on duty when it was raining. So I saw it all from 81, alhamdulillah, to date. So I feel very much happy to be part and parcel of it and to be among those talking about the narratives or the stories.
Talk to us about the early days of Radio Gambia.
It was wonderful. Then, well, you don't talk about the income, salaries and allowances. It was very meager in those years. I could remember I started as a temporal announcer with $150 as salary. Minus income tax, I'll go home with $140-something. But things were very different because we had passion and the discipline also. We were very resolute to listen to our superiors, our supervisors, our directors, managers.
And after more than 6 decades of unrivaled broadcast experience, Radio Gambia, now GRTS Radio, continues to provide quality program content for its diverse audience across the country and beyond.
We're trying to bring back the lost glory of Radio Gambia. And how do we go about that? We make sure that our programs are people-centered because we believe very much if programs are people-centered, if people see themselves in our programming, they'll take ownership of the station. And this is why our program schedule is constantly reviewed and updated to ensure its compatibility with the cyclic nature of people's daily activities. Still on, people-centered programming, Radio Gambia is a true reflection of diversity If you tune into the Radio Gambia, you hear all languages that are being spoken in Gambia. And then when it comes to technology, we try to be at par with modern technology. We're investing heavily on equipment. If you go to our studios, in the past we used to broadcast on analog, but this is no longer the case. We are very far when it comes to the digitization of our studios. Our studios are now equipped with user-friendly, technology, which we use to record our programs as well as programs and reports. And then when it comes to our signals, Grts again is investing a lot when it comes to transmitters. Anywhere you go in Gambia, our transmitters are located at very strategic locations to make sure that Grts radio is heard everywhere.
Times have changed, and with it comes the demanding task of building and transforming the radio for the future.
Radio Gambia has established a large listener base. Let me put it that way. It's very popular among our population. It's doing a fantastic job, and the only thing we can do is to expand the service. Expand the service in the sense of putting up more transmitters up country, particularly on the north bank of the river, because they are known at the moment. So let's get the radio accessible, because I receive calls from Kaur. People say, what happened to the radio? We didn't listen to the news this morning. That shows the importance that people have attached to Radio Gambia. You wake up in the morning, you want to listen to radio to find out what the news is, what's happening in the country. That's how important radio is. So we will try to expand on our reach, make sure everywhere in the Gambia people will be able to listen to radio.
And much of that transformation is progressing as GRTS Radio continues to embrace digital technology with the digitization of a treasure trove of historical content at its library, as well as its efforts to expand its digital broadcast. GRTS Radio at 60, a celebration of excellence in broadcasting.